There's a huge hidden global trade happening right under our noses. It connects a booming traditional medicine in China with some of the most vulnerable communities in Africa and South America. And right at the heart of it all, one of the world's most humble animals, the donkey. All right, let's get into this. 6 million. Just try to wrap your head around that number for a second. According to a recent report from the UK charity, the Donkey Sanctuary, that's how many donkeys are estimated to be killed across the globe every single year. It's an absolutely staggering figure. And it just leads to one simple, really urgent question. Why? I mean, what on earth could be driving a trade on this massive scale? So, first, let's really dig into that number and the frankly unsustainable demand that's sitting right behind it. That demand, it all centers on just one product, a thing called Ejiao. And this stuff, it's the engine driving this entire trade. So what exactly is Ejiao? Well, it's a hard gelatin that's made by boiling donkey skins. It's a really popular product in traditional Chinese medicine, and it's believed to have all these health benefits. Things like improving your immune system or curing anemia. Though it is important to note that the sources we're looking at here point out these benefits are not scientifically proven. And the connection becomes crystal clear when you just look at the data. I mean, between 2013 and 2021, Ejiao production just exploded, surging by 390%. To meet that demand in 2021 alone, it took nearly 6 million donkey hides, and there's our shocking number again. And what's really wild is that this massive demand is only expected to keep growing. So this incredible demand in China created a massive supply problem, and that's what kicked off this frantic global hunt for donkeys. At first, to meet the demand, China turned to its own donkey population. But what happened? It completely collapsed. The population just plummeted from a peak of 11 million back in 1990 to only 1.5 million by 2023. That is a staggering 87% drop. The domestic supply was, well, it was basically wiped out. Okay, so with its own supply pretty much gone, where did the industry possibly turn to find millions upon millions of donkey hides every year? Well, they turned to the rest of the world. Africa very quickly became the main source, supplying over half of all the equine hide imports to China. South America was next, supplying more than 20%. And the consequences for these countries have been absolutely devastating. Egypt's donkey population dropped by 68%. Brazil's fell by 23%. South Africa's was literally cut in half. That same pattern of collapse that we saw happen in China? Yeah, it's now repeating itself all over the globe. But, this isn't just a story about animal numbers. There is a profound and very real human cost to all of this, especially for the most vulnerable communities. For millions of people, donkeys are an absolute lifeline. I mean, they're essential for carrying goods, for hauling water. They literally support the livelihoods of poor families. So when these donkeys get stolen or their price goes through the roof, the source reports show that it's often women who have to take on that backbreaking labor themselves. In Ghana, there are even reports of girls being pulled out of school just to help carry the burden. And all across these regions, animal theft has become completely rampant. The economic impact is just stark. Take Kenya, for example. The price of a single donkey doubled in just 3 years. It went from 78 pounds in 2016 to 156 pounds by 2019. This just puts these essential animals completely out of reach for the very families who depend on them most. So all of this has snowballed into an unfolding crisis, and it's forcing a global response. And that response came in a really big way. In February of 2024, the African Union took a truly landmark step. They imposed a continent-wide ban on the trade of donkey skins, trying to protect both the animals and the communities that rely on them. But here's the thing. A ban doesn't just make billions of dollars of demand disappear. Unfortunately, the trade hasn't stopped. Nope, it's just been pushed underground. And that's created a cruel and thriving illegal market where donkey theft just continues. So this is pretty much where things stand today. The demand for Ejiao is projected to keep growing. The official trade is banned across Africa, but this brutal, illegal trade is still going strong. And that leaves us with a final, critical question.
What is the future for the world's donkeys and for the millions of people whose very survival is tied to theirs?